Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today's episode 22 of Manifest Monday. We have our special guest here today, my good friend, solopreneur. He's a business owner, currently scaling his business to get that FU money, and all while leading a health and conscious lifestyle, traveling the world to study martial arts, history, and giving to communities in need. He also one of my good friend, workout buddy, man. We go way back at CSU, working out 24/7 all day. Back in the day, man, he put me on a lot he put me on game when it comes to fitness, bro. Like when I first started, right? Marsh and I used to work out. Yeah, I learned a lot from him, just being around him when it comes to overall fitness and health, man. Thanks for being here today, bro. Thanks for seeing you. It's been a minute too, man.
Yeah, no,
And glad you're on here.
yeah, it's been a
Appreciate
minute,
you tapping in, man.
Huge salute to Maz, man.
Yeah.
Huge salute.
Appreciate y'all. I actually connected with all these fine young gentlemen at CSU, and as you can see, they have not aged a bit.
Yeah,
Still,
we all how we wrote, baby. Black don't crack, baby.
I'm with you when you're right, brother. I'm with you when you're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And no, it's always good to see y'all. I mean, it's been a minute, but you know, it's good to be here. And yeah, man, just going off of what you said, DG, having that FU money as well as that FU body. You know, we definitely, I think everybody's looking to strive for that. You know, a lot of people, I mean, especially from us, like us going to college and things like that. When I first went to CSU, I didn't even know I wanted to study at first. Yeah. So I bounced around from being undeclared and then going into, was it sports medicine? And I think that's how I stumbled upon DG and met him through another friend of ours, Caston. And then, you know, we started working out at the gym. I saw all these gentlemen here on the screen at the gym. And it was a great interaction. It continues to be. And that time from being at CSU and learning what I wanted to do, from being kicked out, from being like on academic probation. I don't know if y'all know this, but I thought that was just there to party. You know? I was like, hold on, we just gotta learn something too. You know, I got kicked out for a little bit, and I'm kind of a knucklehead in the sense of like I'm hard-headed. I gotta get back and finish what I started. So ended up getting my financial aid back and finished with a health and exercise science and business administration degree. And I feel like, what is that? I think the numbers are like 50-something% of graduates nowadays don't even use their degree, which is kind of sad. And I'm just grateful to the fact that I use my degree in the fitness space every single day for the most part. And I think sharing that knowledge with other people is very helpful, because you'll see people kind of go for the cop-out route with saying, oh, I want to go get this pill. I want to go get, you know, the next medical fad, so to speak, in order to kind of get that benefit that exercise in, I don't like using the word dieting, but exercise and healthy eating habits will give you. But, you know, there's so many side effects on these pills. You know, if you watch the commercials, it's like side effects may include death. And they're like, oh, hold up. I thought it was just out.
I could die?
Like, I can die from this stuff. So, you know, that being said, like, I learned that fitness is something that's always going to be a major cornerstone for my life, as well as teaching it to other people, you know, but I started to realize that it wasn't something that was really meant for me on a one-to-one, making my income from that space in general. So I started to try different things and exercise the degree, or my minor in this sense, with entrepreneurship, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if we could cuss on here. I think I cussed already.
Hell yeah.
Fine.
I'll
let it go then. No, but,
shit, boy, let it fly. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. No, but at that time, man, I was just like, man, I'm studying all this stuff, and I'm making decent money. It wasn't enough it was just enough to get by. Right. And one of my buddies, he started a power washing business. So we got locked in on the power washing business, and it did really well. Out here in Colorado doesn't do the best as it would in somewhere where it's a little bit humid, because in humid, as you know, algae, all that stuff, mold grows. So people get their houses power washed pretty on a consistent basis. And we did that, paired in with carpet cleaning, and I was working out. So it was a mixture of just a fit lifestyle, because I wasn't sitting behind a desk.
Wow.
And for it was like, damn, I'm over here cleaning these people's shit, basically. And I never thought I would be doing this, but I'm spending an hour doing work and I get $800, $1,000 for just an hour of work. So I'm like, this is a pretty good conversion. So not all of the gigs would convert that way. So I'm like, man, once I got to that point where I realized that I needed to leverage knowledge, I would be in these jobs that I'm working, listening to books, listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts like we're doing right now, listening to people that are basically the smart people that are where I aspire to be, and always being the dumbest person in the room, which I'll get on that later, is what helped me get to where I am right now. Not saying I've made it by any means, but I've definitely come a lot further than I was with being financially kicked out of CSU and thinking they're the party. But yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. Like I leveraged knowledge and ultimately got into learning about Airbnb. Got an Airbnb going, and we were cash flowing that Airbnb about $4,000 a month on top of what we were doing for carpet cleaning and our power washing. So now I'm just like, man, this is all coming together. And it only took me maybe 6.5 years of being in college, as well as like, failing, getting up back on my feet, and then failing, moving forward. But yeah, I'll let it breathe, because I feel like I kind of rambled there.
No, we appreciate you sharing.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. To give us a good background on, in a setup to, I feel like where the episode's going, and I feel like you touched on it, but I know you getting into real estate, but it sounded like specifically Airbnb. That's interesting, bro. How'd you kind of get into that field of real estate in general, but then moving to the Airbnb space?
Yeah, well, Airbnb, I was just hearing, this is back in like 2019, like right before the pandemic was getting started. So we launched, I remember, November 2019. And then I think it's like January 2020. I only know this because Kobe passed away during that time when I was setting up my Airbnb. I'm like, damn, Kobe, no, not Kobe.
Yeah.
Guy.
Man, it hurt my heart.
It was rough, man. So then I was like, man, this is rough. We're starting right at that time where COVID's going. So I knew that I had to make more income, because I was working at times where I'd go to bed at 12 and then work or wake up the next day at like, I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8, and then get a workout and go again. But then at that next day, I would have to work maybe, let's say, 3 a.m. in the morning, random times, like where it doesn't really make sense. You can't get any type of consistency for your circadian rhythm to really allow the body to heal at the end of the day. Like when you're in tune with the sun, and we could touch on that later. But to answer your question, I kind of went all around. I needed to not just make money for trading my time for money. So I was listening to all these podcasts, Bigger Pockets podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to them.
I heard of it.
Yeah. I was listening to them, and then also jumped on to this one guy, I think it's called Airbnb Automated. And I wanted to find out how to cash flow real estate and leverage real estate without buying it. And that's why I found out that I can do what's called Airbnb arbitrage. And you rent a property, and then when you're renting that property, you let the landlord know what you're doing with it. I let them know, like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Landlord, I have 2 professional cleaning businesses. I'm going to keep this property looking pristine, clean, and nice. And it is like, oh, okay. Well, as long as you pay the bill. I was like, oh, all right, that's bet, So I ended up checking regulations, and I found out that I had to have my name on the deed of the property. And I was like, well, I don't, but let's run it. But it was try it anyway. And that kind of landed me into my next transition in the real estate journey was I get a call one day. So we were actually sharing the property. My lady, she was gracious enough to live in the property while we were renting it out to strangers, you know. So she only could ride that out for so long out, and we were renting out the whole property. We rented it for only 2 months until I get a random call. And they're like, "Hey, are you at the property?" I think it was like 200 something. I forget what it was. I was like, "Yeah." Well, you have 3 listings on Airbnb. You need to shut those down, or we're gonna have to fine you $10,000. And in my head, I was like, "Damn, is it worth it though?" So I ended up shutting those down, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, PC, but I kind of did a little deviation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. It definitely did. It definitely did. So, but what you're saying when you said that, can you technically not do Airbnb unless you're on a deed to a
It,
property? Is
it,
that kind of how that works?
so it depends on the regulations in the county that you're in.
Right.
So Denver's
Mm.
really strict in itself. You can do Airbnb as long as you live on the premises. So there's a lot of people that are building ADUs, additional dwelling unit, as a backyard, and then they'll rent out the main property, which is a really good strategy to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of regulations now within the state of Colorado where they're more tenant friendly. So let's say, for example, they being the tenants don't want to pay anything. The eviction process is way more drawn out than it used to be. So you can come out of pocket quite a bit just for, the tenants' rights and things like that. Even with Airbnb, you can have somebody just crashing in your Airbnb and not paying anything. So I actually, this is back in 2020,
Right.
now it's 2024. It's a way different strategy, and I'm running different strategies now and not doing Airbnb anymore.
Right. Do you mind like sharing some of those strategies? Like I think you just posted like you just closed a house.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll kind of give you like a little bit of a backstory as to how I learned all this
Right.
stuff. So after realizing that because of the deed, our name not being on the deed of the property, um, sorry, I'm just reading my fiance. What up, babe? I see her in the comments. Yes. So after I found out about our name not being on the deed of the property, I realized that I wanted to just own a property.
Right.
So being a 1099, that's what I was. It's a lot harder to get into a property because the lenders, the banks, they want to see that you make money on paper.
Right.
And 1099, I'm over here tax write off for everything. Like
Right.
I make
Yeah.
$0.
Yeah.
That's the other side that they don't talk about owning your own business.
Yeah, they don't, man. So it's just nuts to me that they don't teach this stuff in school. And that's where I want to really branch out and share this with people, not with just fitness, but also like the financial education where it's going to help build wealth for your families, and set you on a different trajectory. But I digress. That where was I? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, getting onto the knowledge. So I found
Right.
get into the FHA program, and at that time they were I think it was like 3.5 or 5% down. So I
Mhm.
had that from different connections that I've made. Fortunately, I was able to network with some people at the gym, and they saw the property. I showed them the underwriting of it and how much the property can make on Airbnb, and they were lending me the money. But the thing was is that I had a vehicle that I purchased within the last year, and I took that vehicle. It's another play. I took that vehicle and what was it? I took it and then what's the word?
Used it for Turo.
No, I didn't use it for truck. I refinanced it under my business. So that truck was in my personal name, so I refinanced business name. And then at that time, rates were so low, so I still have it under my business name. It's at like a 2 something percent. I was like, man, this is dope. But I did it at the point where it was still too late. So because it was too late, I didn't get approved, and I was pissed, bro. Like, I even remember I posted a video of me on Instagram popping a bottle. I was like, yeah, I got my first property. And it's like, psych.
That's
So
that's
just,
a lesson right there. Don't pop the bottle until you close.
man, I tell you, don't pop the bottle until you close, bro.
The closing process is so drawn out.
Oh, yeah, it's so drawn out, man. It's nerve-wracking too. And I thought to myself, I'm like, how am I going to be able to do this with multiple properties if I'm just dealing with this one property and it's so stressful, bro? So I ended up going on Bigger Pockets, just researching how to get a property no money or low money down. And that's where I came across this guy, Pace Morby, and he was on the Bigger Pockets episode, and he was talking about owns, I think it's like over $1,000 at that time with no money down or no to low money down. I was like, man, how the hell did he do it? And it basically comes down to doing things such as like seller finance and what's called subject to, where you take over the seller's mortgage payments and you continue, you just give them a down payment, you give that seller a down payment, they deed the property over to you, and you just run your exit strategy at that point. So that's where I learned that knowledge. And there's another strategy called a wraparound mortgage, and that's what I did over here in this property in Colorado Springs. It's actually two things. So it's a deed of trust, or sorry, contract for deed. And then after 3 years, we're going to execute on a wraparound mortgage. It's all written on the purchase and sales agreement, and it's a little bit more detailed, but for lack of a better terms, it's more of a lease options agreement. So like own it for 3 years, and then after the 3 years are up, we're going to hold the note on that property, basically become the bank, and that homeowner's just going to be paying us as if we're the bank, and we hold a lien position on the property as a second lien position. So we're backed by the real estate. So if, say for example, that homeowner defaults or they miss a payment, we can kick them out and then get somebody else in there. Of course, we're gonna have to go through a foreclosure process, but no, actually, so we signed a deed in lieu of foreclosure. So essentially, I believe it's enforceable in the state of Colorado, is you sign an agreement with the seller saying that if you were to miss a payment after 3 days, 30 days, whatever it may be, you agree that you'll be out of the house and we foreclose on with you without going through that actual process, because it's a costly process to do a foreclosure. And so, yeah, I think I kind of answered that. Did I answer that question? I did answer with a little bit.
Yeah. Wraparound mortgage. Interesting.
Yeah,
I've never
heard of either of those strategies, honestly. So is that why would a seller do it? So like is that like when they're already into like they have a lien on their property already and you were able to buy the lien, or why would a seller be like, why would they go into an agreement like that where if they miss a payment, someone could pretty much, get them out of there in 30 days? Like what's, you know what I mean? Were they already in a bad position, or why would someone go into
the
it?
initial seller?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, PC. I'm glad that you asked that, because there's some agents that I work with, because I work directly with sellers them, and also I work directly with agents, and agents like, why the hell would my seller want to do that? This one in particular, I'll just speak to the truth of the one in Colorado Springs, was calling this lead on market. So the property was on the market, and I called the agent and I asked them about the property. I get a background on it. So basically, when we're making these calls, we get what's called the 4 pillars. So there's the motivation of the seller, there's the condition of the property, timeline of when they want to sell, and for. So we have to hit all 4 of these before we find out this is a good candidate. If we check all 4 of those boxes, then we go into a disqualification process where we ask them like, okay, why don't you rent the property? Oh, I don't want to rent the property because I don't want to become a landlord. That's what they'll typically say. this guy said. He's not an investor. He was actually a VA. He's a veteran. And
Gotcha.
in
So he had a VA loan.
Yeah, he had a VA loan, so he had no equity. I mean, well, he had equity. He had about $35,000 in equity, but you also have to see. Yeah, Anna mentioned you have to find the pain. So that's what his pain was. Is he had no equity. He moved in with his girlfriend that's in California, so the property's sitting there vacant, and he doesn't want to be a landlord while out of state. He's never done that before, so he's working with here, and the property's been sitting for quite some time. And he's a trucker, so he's paying a mortgage over here. He's paying for we have inflation going up, and he's also paying for, I'm sure, he's helping out his girl wherever maybe he's just having a sugar mommy. You never know. So that's just what he had going on. But I wouldn't know that unless I asked qualifying questions. So that's where learning a lot of the sales process and asking those questions like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, why don't you just get your family member to live in the property? Why don't you do a lot of type of things? Yeah, truckers. So it really just comes down to asking questions, and why a seller would do that. And I tell them like, hey, look, I'm not going to be your highest offer, but I will be your best offer. And the reason I'm going to be your best offer is because I understand your situation. So in this case in particular, everyone that would do this, they have to be motivated. Like there has to be motivation. We closed on one that was in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, where the sellers split up. They weren't like married or anything, but they were divorced. They were just a couple that were underneath the same deed. So what we did is we gave them a down payment. I think it was like $18,000. The lady got 16,000 or 15,000, something like that, and then the dude walked away with 3,000. And then we just took over the mortgage, and I wholesaled that deal to an end buyer that ran an Airbnb on it. So that's kind of like
okay.
Want to do a seller finance or subject to type of transaction.
That's interesting. I never heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah, bro.
I've never heard of that process before at all. So that's really interesting. It definitely sounds like a lengthy process, obviously, like, a lot of doing your due diligence, asking the right questions and whatnot. But I mean, clearly it paid off. So, it's just wanting to see it through.
Oh, 100%. So like this is why I see the power in creative finance, because you don't need your credit pulled. You don't like the deal that I had in Colorado Springs. I had a private money partner that I was working with within my community lend us $40K to put down, and out of that $40K paid the agent, paid the seller, and then we used some of that. It took us 6 months to find an end buyer for that one.
Wow.
And bro, hitting bricks that whole 6 months. I was like, man, I'm gonna run out of this money. I don't have. I was just like trying to figure it out. And the way that I was marketing, it was mainly a Hispanic community, so it came down getting to that avatar. So we really need to, when we're doing stuff like this, it's really coming down to sales and marketing when we're doing like wholesale and real estate investment, or investing rather. So I put out an ad on Facebook directed to the Hispanic community. And I had, fortunately, my fiance, she speaks Spanish. So she helped out a lot with that. Man, it was like game 7, fourth quarter, balls in my hands. I was like, shoot, I got, you know what I'm saying? So I literally was down to my last, what was it? Is 1920 is the mortgage, including the seller finance amount. And I had that this last month of March, and we just got it paid. This guy, he was so ecstatic to live into the property. He was renting a trailer home, and his lease was up, and he's like, hey, I don't want to renew at a trailer home. My family deserves better. Obviously, this is Spanish. Wife was there, and man, the look on their faces, they're just so happy to be there, and just like, hey, how do we make this happen? Like, I want to live here. And he didn't have any credit. He's self-employed, and that's what we do is we actually help a lot of these people that aren't at that point where they can afford a home. We help them get into a home.
Yeah.
And he was able to pay us $30K, and out of that, we were able to pocket $7,000, and then pay back our private money partners more than half. And then the rest of the money is going to be coming from $5,000 at the end of each year that he'll be paying us for 3 years. So that would fulfill everything on private money partners. But I'm just gonna, for myself, I want to make them whole. So I'm just going to take from other deals and then just pay them the private to make them whole. Because I was like, the thing is, man, just having. I mean, DG, I remember in college, I was like, bro, can you spot me like $20? I felt like, man, I owe him, bro. I'm gonna have to give him a massage or something. Like, I like borrowing. It makes me feel like I really need to look out for this person.
Right.
But that's just it's something innate that just brings that extra umph out. It's like, yo, you need to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So what happened after the 3 years period? Do you have the ability to renew that contract, or?
So yeah, that's a good question, bro. Good question. So after the 3 year period, if they miss one payment of $5,000, you have the right to tell them like, hey, look, you have to move out of this property within 30 days, and then we run somebody else. So we can get somebody else in there. Hey, $30,000 down.
Right.
Then we already kept that $30,000 from that other other tenant.
Right.
Get somebody, they get us $30K, and then we just keep running the play.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question, if they either continue making the payments and then we deed the property over to them, if they make those $5,000 payments for the first 3 years, we deed the property over, so they're 100% owners, and then hold the note at that time. So that's
so it's like a rent to buy program.
Pretty much.
for the
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially. So it's called multiple different things that you call a lease option, like a contract for deed. Another relatable way buy a car. You don't actually hold on to that title. It's actually held by a third party, being like that. So that's essentially a contract for deed, and then you get that title until you've paid off or fulfilled your duty with the lender.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So yes, so you're pretty much holding the deed. They get into the contract to where they put, like that deposit down, but they'd have to make these payments for 3 years. If they can make those, then they have the option to get the property. If not, then, you could pretty much rinse and repeat the play.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And the reason why we wanted to do like hold and note bottles just because the tenant laws. I don't want to get into all that extra stuff. But the thing is right now, the benefit, like on the other side, playing devil's advocate, the benefits of holding the deed and being an actual property owner, I'm sure you guys know this since you own properties, you get benefits, you get the depreciation and appreciation of all that, so you're getting the equity. So there is some benefit there. It's just that you want to hold properties in the area where the laws are set up for the landlord to benefit.
Yeah.
And no one could really take advantage of that, because you'd be surprised, bro. Like I call foreclosure leads, and these tenants, they know the laws, bro. Like they're just like, they don't pay. There's people that have been in foreclosure for 4 years, 3 years.
It's crazy.
In New York, you're out there. Lady that was in foreclosure for 9 years.
How?
Well, because the regulations, like I don't know what in New York, but they're very lax with their tenants. So if there's missed payments or anything like that, I'm sure they can just reach out to the lender and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I have this health condition or whatever. In state Texas, Georgia, Alabama, or basically red states, like not too political, they're more landlord friendly, and they'll if anything like that happens. It actually recently in Florida, they passed the no squatters regulation out there in Florida. So a lot of these migrants that are coming in, they'll just squat at properties that are vacant, and I did not want that. That would have sucked.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that like there's so much to this strategy that I think a lot of people need to learn about, because it will help people get mad properties for sure. And right now we're at the trajectory of, like, this is our first property we just got last year.
Right.
About to close on one in Denver this weekend on Friday, or yeah, around Friday. So, you know, it'll be our second door. And yeah, we've just been in this community for 3 years. I wasn't, like, my first year, bro, is a lot of mindset stuff.
Right.
Like, I didn't think it was possible
Right.
to even own a property and even become successful at this. So I was really getting away. And yeah, bro, like, just the consistency of driving it. And I wouldn't have been able to get here if it wasn't for set regimens,
Right.
such as like doing my fitness and having those
Right.
things in play.
Right.
Having that fitness, it's not really for the body, at least for me. I mean, it's like the cherry on top. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get a little flex on here. But,
Come on, man.
yeah, like the mindset, bro.
Yeah.
Like, just, it takes so much stress off. It takes you so much out of your head, and I didn't realize how much I overthought things. Because it's cool, because in this community that I'm in, there's no end to it. Like, we're in it for life. I think I'm in it until basically he thinks he wants to sell it.
Right.
But, you know, I've been in it for 3 years now. And at the beginning, they tell you you're in there for a year. And I've met so many people that are high value, that are buying businesses, buying real estate, buying car washes, storage units, all these different type of things. I was like, bro, this is where I want to be.
Right.
You know, because yeah, the money's cool. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just more of like a tool. But at the end of the day, you know, like what I was talking about when DG did the introduction, is I want to give to communities that don't have this knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Giving to communities that don't have this knowledge, learning about them and understanding their way of life. Because I think American culture is very much so like this, in a box.
Right.
They don't know what's going on out there in the world outside of what they see on TV, which is a narrative.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, this type of knowledge would help individuals break that paradigm for their whole family. And it would just change the world, you know, at the end of the day. So a lot of philanthropic things that I have planned, looking to bring affordable housing to Puerto Rico as well. We already started an LLC out there. So we're you know, looking to do this with not just the health, but also business and real estate and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to link in with y'all too, so we can all buy a property together, bro. Let's, like,
yeah.
I never say that, like, yo, let's buy a property together. Like, now it's actually possible, and it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We're big on real estate. All of us are. So I mean, that's obvious. That's a say less moment, bro. Say less. Let's get it. You know? Say less. But I'm glad that you mentioned that about knowledge, like, because that's really what it all boils down to in life, you know. And just a lot of the people who are the most successful are really just, like, knowledgeable about certain things.
Right.
Like, knowledge is the key to just success, especially in the long term, because it's really just about knowing, like, you only know what you know, right? And you don't know what you don't know. But when you are in the know, you can pass along that knowledge to other people, to future generations and stuff like that. And that's how you build that generational wealth, is because you're able to establish that early on, and then, like, you're able to continue passing down all this knowledge and all this insight, and just, like, the certain loopholes, right? Like, we exist in a society of capitalism, and capitalism is really just about exactly what it says, capitalizing on every opportunity, right? You know, so, like, when you can use and manipulate the system to your benefit, like, that's what it's about at the end of the day. You're capitalizing on that. And so when you're in the know of those things, and you we actually talk about this often, a lot of people like to gatekeep that information, which is wild to me, you know, like so it's dope to hear it from, like, a perspective like you, where you actually want to share that information and stuff like that. Because obviously, like, people can be selfish and just keep it all to themselves, right? You know, but it's dope that you actually want to, like, pass along that knowledge to other people, because it is truly beneficial. And like, honestly, like, helping other people isn't going to impede on your success in any way. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
One thing you mentioned earlier, though, Maj, is about like the whole mindset thing, right? You had that mindset of, I think that's the key, right? Self-learning, all the podcasts and things, the knowledge that you gain was able to like expand your mindset, make you go into things that you never thought you had the capability of doing. I think it's just very, very important, man. Things that we want to do something, we have these limiting beliefs that we don't think we can accomplish certain things. But I believe nowadays we live in a day and age that the resource knowledge is out there. So whatever it is that you really want to learn, if you spend time and information into learning those things, you can be powerful into any field. So that's very, very important that you just mentioned that, bro.
Yeah. Knowledge, mindset, and y'all are hitting on it for sure, man. And sometimes it's that mindset that primes the body too, because if the mindset's not right and you're just like, man, I can do this, but you feel a different way in your heart and your heart's not with it, man, it's just like you're kind of mentally masturbating in a way. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but in a sense, like if you're thinking you can do it, but you're taking action, but you know, in your body, you don't feel it enough. Eventually you're just going to stop. And a lot of people do this when they go to the gym. They're just like, oh man, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. And they just keep telling themselves that, oh yeah, I'm going to keep going, but it hurts. You know, you just got to trick your mind. You got to tap into your psychology. Everybody's different, you know, and tell yourself a story that works for you. And then once you tell yourself that story and you believe in it so much in your heart that you could just see it in your mind, even when you're not even like actually doing the thing. And visualization, man, has helped me so much. Like hypnosis, NLP type of stuff has helped me get through a lot of the mindset issues. I still have them today. And I'm not saying that I'm some fucking guru or anything like that. Not, you know, but it's just like I'm still practicing it every single day. A journal, gratitude, pray, you know, have faith in God, and just leading with God in mind has always like brought me to this point, man. It's just God listens. I'm just say that. I was like, man, wow, thank you. It's just amazing, and it always just comes back to that, you know, and just sharing with other people, and really being intentional. Like it's huge when you really lead with something intentional. You're like, hey, this is this that I have for this thing, and I really want this person to enjoy it because they deserve it, or you know, whatever. Z, you know, so.
Yeah. And another thing that you touched on earlier, in regards to fitness, about it, just like obviously pouring into other aspects of your life. You know, I think that's the big piece that we talk about often, is just like people who learn that discipline in the gym and just being like living an overall healthy lifestyle. You can't help but like the rest of your life be elevated in so many ways, because you've now established that discipline, right? You know, it's where it's just like, I know I'm going to be consistent. Like I'm going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, you know, however frequently you decide to go. And when you reach those goals of yours, you know, like it encourages you to like continue doing more, right? You're seeking even more benefit and how you can grow, right? And so that obviously is like, cool, like now my body's right, let me go ahead and get my finances right, you know, like and now my finances are right, now let me get my spirit right, you know, kind of thing. So when you learn this discipline, it naturally pours over into other aspects of your life. But I do think a big piece of that starts with that fitness piece. And so I'm glad that you hit that on the head too, because I mean, I learned that in my fitness journey. You know, like my fitness journey has been all over the place, but like, you know, like it definitely taught me that, and just looking to people like yourselves, you know, like you and DG, you know, for just encouragement, and just like, you know, just obviously like, you know, people who motivate me. You know, it's just like, all right, you know, let me scroll. Okay, like let me get my ass in the gym. I see like I see Maj in the gym. Let me go ahead and get my ass in the gym. And it's just like, all right, you know. So, but yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. DG be coming with the eye candy too. I was like, man, I gotta be right. I gotta be right in the dieting aspect, man. There was this one time where I just had to get ripped as fuck. I was like, it's possible. DG's ripped all the time. It's possible. But I think it's a little different though, because everyone has their own body types, and they you know, burn calories differently, and different spaces and whatnot. But that is key for sure. And I see, Z, PC, y'all have a superpower, and I love that y'all continuously exercise that, in the music space. And there's so many people that say they're going to do something, but they don't do it, and y'all do it all the time. And I see y'all thing. And it's good that you mentioned, Z, when we were chatting about the fitness thing, because I feel like the fitness aspect, that cornerstone, that's more of my superpower. And if you can harness something and that's your superpower, you can build on top of that and just be like, you know what, I'm really good at this one thing. I can use this momentum to go into something else. And that's what I do with my fitness. I do it first thing in the morning. And then it was called Eat the Frog. It was a book from Brian Tracy. He says, do the hardest thing first. So I was like, I'm going to take the momentum from my fitness and then go straight into the hardest thing that I don't want to do. In this case, when I was coming to real estate, it was making phone calls. So just me making phone calls to somebody else is a stranger, and then they just tell me to fuck off. And I was like, man, it sucks. Because I'm sure you guys get calls from just fucking with them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's me.
Hey, I like that you said that, though, because when you get it done early, at least you get the fuck yous before lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It'll be cool by dinner. You know what I'm saying?
He said, I got about 17 fuck yous. I'm going to eat the shit out of this meal.
Hey, come on.
You ain't lying, man. So, yeah, especially early in the morning, like a lot of people are just waking up. So but the best time to really make those calls is, before they go to work, and then when they get off of work, just because of, anything in between that, they're at work. They're not really going to be answering their calls. And to touch on the fitness and health aspect, testosterone is the highest. I think it's around 8 to 10 a.m. in the morning. So that's when we're most driven to really, put in that effort and extra oomph. And if y'all haven't heard of it, the circadian rhythm, there's a book called The Circadian Code. It's important to really just tap into that, because that's the body's really subconscious clock, so that we understand how to use that to our benefit, in a nutshell. So that's what I was doing there with, like, using that fitness aspect and then tying in, like, eating the frog into the hardest thing that I don't want to do, but I know that it's going to set up my future self for success.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
No, that's a really good point you mentioned earlier, Mike. Just like doing the hard thing at first, right? But my thing is, though, sometimes some people try, right? Whenever they get one no, they're done.
Yeah.
But the fact that you kept going, it just shows you, like, I think sometimes when it comes to our goals, bro, it all comes down to how bad do you want it, right? Because we were having a conversation today, me, Ramond, and Z was talking about just creating like a vision board. We're like, okay, now we want to go to a whole new level that we've never been. How can we get there? And we were just having a discussion today. We're like, maybe it's time to create a vision board. It's time to, like, reinvent the wheel, because the old method we've been doing before got us this far. Now we want to, like, go above and beyond. The work ethic has to be different. The mindset has to be different. Like, everything else has to be different. And I feel like sometimes that's the reason why a lot of people don't achieve that greatness, right? Because they're still doing the same work that they did before that got. It's like, you want to make a 1 mil, then you're working like that 30K mindset. You're not gonna make a mil. You have to, like, reinvent where you have to do something different. So I just feel that you mentioned that whole persistent part. Yeah, someone said, man, hey, can I talk to you about real estate? Fuck you. But you're like, nah, let me call the other person. And just kept going. And that's how you succeed, bro, in any field, man. Like, see, when it comes to the gym, right? You start working it right away. You don't see the results right away, bro. Over time, when you diet, you exercise, the nutrition part, over time, bro, you get there.
Yeah.
And there's some people who start after a while, man, I'm not seeing the result here. I've been going to the gym for 2 months. I don't look like The Rock, and then you give up.
You look like
I don't look like DG. DG more shredded than a julienne salad, man. Like, why don't I look like that? Why don't I look like that?
But he forgot that DG been doing this shit since he was 18, and he's about to be 34.
Showing up, man. That's really what it is.
But I think a good point that you hit on, Maj, earlier was community, right? Is surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, because you can only think and do so much you know, and that's why I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are just as ambitious, if not more than you. Like, you know, a point you mentioned earlier, Maj, is being the dumbest person in the room. I fully agree with that to the utmost. I think if you're the smartest in the person in the room, you're in the wrong room, you know, kind of thing. So I think it's important to put yourselves in those spaces, put yourselves in those uncomfortable conversations, situations, and really challenge yourself to grow, because you're only going to do so much by yourself, and it truly takes a village. And I genuinely believe that. So like the fact that you were able to go out and find this community, you know, that like has now welcomed you in, and like you're building with them, and obviously like, you know, like doing this investor, you know, route in real estate and stuff like that. That's something that's really important and critical to growth. Is just not just like, it is mentality, right? You know, but I think a big piece of it is inspiration. And I think inspiration oftentimes comes from the people who are around you most, you know, people that you idolize or people that you look up to. And so I think it's important to reach out to those people, you know, like, and ask for a helping hand and stuff like that. And I think that's something that some people have a challenge with. It's just like, you know, like, where do I even start? Right. You know, like kind of thing. Like, I know that I want this knowledge. I know that I want to, you know, I want to have knowledge in the fitness realm. I want to be able to invest in real estate. I want to know stocks and all this stuff, but it's just like, dude, I don't even know where to start, you know, kind of thing. So it's important to, you know, put yourselves in those uncomfortable situations and just find people who will help.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Like to even that when Diamond was talking about the vision board and stuff, like shout out to y'all for doing that. You know, not many people have that ability to be like, hold up. I've been doing the same thing I've been doing for like 3-4 years. We need to pivot. We need to do something different, much bigger. And this book, I think it's called, I forget what it's called, but it's by Tim Grover, the dude that trained Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and, you know, all these higher level performers doing stuff like that. And you're saying that, you know, you have to have a vision so big to the point where you need other people there to help you become successful, because you can't do it all yourself.
Correct.
Like,
it's not, yeah.
A vision so big that you're forced to talk to other people. You're forced to network, get outside of your comfort zone. And then for me, I was difficult, bro. Like, I'm naturally the type of person that just is like this. Like, I don't, like, I'm friendly, but at the same time, I'm very skeptical about people. So I'm just like, hey, yeah, what's going on? Like, I'm just like, I don't open up as much. But now I'm at that, I'm still aware of how people are, you know, in seeing what's out there for me, but also I'm like, what's in this for this person? Like, why does this person want to do work with me? But I realized that at that point, when I'm thinking at that level, that's what I attract. That's that I put out there.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, man, if God's right, I'm right with God. I'm gonna attract the right people. Like they're always inevitable. Even if this person fucks me over, I'm gonna come back stronger, and then it's gonna keep going and keep going. You know, so that's what I want to say. Like, big shout out to you guys for putting this platform on, working together, and having the courage to put yourselves out there, because it's not easy to do this, and being consistent too. Like, I've been seeing y'all doing this on a consistent basis. I was like, dang, I gotta say what up and see what's going on.
Episode 22, baby.
Yeah.
We 22 weeks straight, baby.
Yeah.
Weeks straight, man. It's crazy. No, and I'm talking about, you know, Christmas, New Year's, all this stuff. Like, there's no excuse at this point. It's just like, you know, my birthday's next Monday. I'm gonna be right here back on Manifest Mondays, baby. You know, like, it's just like no excuse. And I think just that commitment to not just yourself, but that commitment to each other, and just like that extra level of accountability. When you're building with people around you that you truly look up to and feed off of, that's where the best results come from, right? You know, like, I think a collaborative effort always yields the best results, and I think that's something that we all excel at, is not just saying it, we do it, you know, and we encourage one another, we challenge one another, and you know, we're all building our own little community, and just that's exactly why we established this platform, right? Because, you know, to your point, Maj, with wanting to help people and wanting to like just establish certain things like a platform for people to just come on and share their thoughts, their opinions, and everyone's opinion is valued here. You know, like, we want to create that space, that safe space where it's just like, you know, we can talk about real estate, but we can also cuss like like fuck it, we here, baby. Like we doing what we love to do, and just
Right.
to learn and grow as much as possible, because there's always going to be something new, to us, a new challenge to tackle, a new muscle to define, a new song to create. Like there's always going to be something that's challenging us.
Yeah, and I have to ask y'all a question. Now that you said that, what is y'all's why? When putting this together, like, what do y'all? What's the intention behind this?
I'll start, man. I would say just like the why behind it, just being able to, whatever we have gathered, we have learned, to be able to like share that with other people, especially hopefully, Black folks, people like us, young folks, to just become better, man. Because we've seen progress in our personal life, looking from where we came from to currently where we at in life, and just being able to like share that information to see the community grow, to help our friends become better.
Absolutely.
I'll say that's kind of like the why, because we had this conversation behind the scene. These are the conversations we'll be having behind the scene anyway, like all the time. We talk about investment, business, things that we can improve our personal life. So we're like, why not like share that? I'm sure there are other people out there, right? Because sometimes when you have people who are like you and doing things, you are inspired to become better. Like if Z can do that, I want to be better too. If Mosh can do that, I want to be better. So for me, it's like just sharing that, being able to see the community grow and elevate, help our friends around us become better. I would say that's why.
Piggy off of that, not just the fact that we have access to that. There's a lot of people out there who don't have access to that same support and that same network. We are privileged in a lot of ways, that we have access to certain people, certain communities, certain resources, that have helped get us to where we are now, and are only going to continue to help us grow and elevate further down the road. And my network of people, all of you included, I don't ever take that for granted, but I also recognize that there's a lot of people out there with like genuinely dope and creative minds, and who have all these great ideas, but they don't even know where to start. They oftentimes are just like, bro, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know. I don't even have somebody I can bounce ideas off with, and so a big reason why we wanted to create this space was not just expanding our own network and our own community, but also creating the space for the people who feel like they don't have access to that, because it is something that we can't take for granted, and something that we want more people to have access to that, because oftentimes, a lot of people don't. I mean, just honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. How about you, PC?
Man, pretty much the same, bro. In the sense of like, there was a point where, I just realized I wanted my impact and legacy to be attached to what I've left here. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of times we forget that we're only on Earth for a little piece of time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And as much as we're going to do, it's really still small. As much as we're going to do, right? But in that thing that when we do, I just wanted to be like, whatever I can learn, whatever I can take, I could just give back. You know what I mean? Because we're only in this little and on this thing for a little piece of time, man. And while we're here, it makes no like gatekeeping doesn't even really make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, like for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it might, like in the very short term, they might not be competition, but on the big term, it doesn't even help anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't help anybody. So we talk about it all the time, but just in the sense of just really just trying to grow and give. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it breaks down to, man. And then, at the same time, inspired by living the lifestyle that we actually want to live.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, we can say it's a superpower, but it's something we love as well in the passion of music. I'm gonna get as creative as possible to figure out how I can make that a part of my lifestyle until I'm done with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to find ways to be able to do things that you want to do, inspire people, and then everything you do on that path, that growth path, you're able to give back. Man, I heard this thing that said, just because you got $1 million don't mean you're a millionaire.
Right.
You know what I mean? You won the lotto today, you would have $1 million, but you don't have the mindset of a millionaire yet. Still, you know what I mean? So you got to get that mindset. But you can have the mindset before you get the money. But even if you got the money, it don't mean you got the mindset, man. So just trying to help as many people get there as we can. You feel me? because I'm for sure on the way to mine. You know what I'm saying? So I want to help other people get theirs. You know what I'm saying? So
And to add to that, I would say, man, just like me, like giving something, I look at it right as me giving advice to my younger self. Because sometimes I look at it, because I feel like when I was growing up, I wish I had like all this information, like someone there, like friends around me, giving me all these advice, right? So for me, it's mostly like what would I do differently, right? If I was young, right? So for me, it's like now the knowledge that I've gained, people that I interact with, things that I've done, it's just been giving advice to my younger self. And my younger self could be like that kid who's in high school, right? That kid who's like in college who doesn't know, just having that network, right? So for me, just like being able to like share that information, things we have done, what we're currently dealing with, yeah, because there are a lot of, we haven't figured it out yet. We're not at that level yet, but compared to where we came from, bro, we have made tremendous progress. And for us, it's just like, what's the point of just holding that information, not being able to give that back? I'm sure if somebody out here, they can like benefit from that. And also us like learning too, right? Because you coming on here, bro, I didn't know what the wraparound mortgage was.
I
Now I
never
know. I had
heard
that.
of that.
Yeah, right. So like being able to like learn too, just having a community that we can like like-minded individual we can learn and grow from.
Yeah, 100%. And the reason I asked that question too is just so I can help y'all out, in that journey and give wherever I can, because really resonated with every one of your answers that you mentioned, because it does come back to that point of, PC, you mentioned that we're not here for that long. We're really not, bro. Like,
Nah.
there's so many people that I've known in high school, college that have passed. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I remember them and they're no longer here. Like, the fuck am I doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Seriously.
I don't have time to not believe in myself. I don't have the time to doubt myself and not put in the action and then just keep watching the content and then not taking action on it. Like, there's only so much that you can do that, like DG, you mentioned that you're giving advice to your younger self. Like, I feel that too, because I do visualize myself of what it would be like if I'm no longer here on the planet. Like,
Right.
what would I have left behind?
Mm-hmm.
And would my family be set up? Would my friends be set up? Would my community be set up? How would the world look? All those different type of things. And y'all are living at that point where you say that, I think you mentioned that you're not there yet, but I think y'all are there in your
Right.
heart.
Right.
Like, the physical world just has to catch up with you. You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's like working out, right? It's the same as
Yeah.
working out.
Yeah.
It might not look like you there yet, but it's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
That's fact. It's true. It's
Absolutely.
true. We're
Like,
Because
we talk about it all the time. I think we're all mentally wealthy.
right.
Like my pockets don't match yet. I may not be a millionaire yet, but
Right.
we getting there, baby. So
Right.
it's just that's exactly why we're here every Monday. We manifesting it, right? So I think that's a big reason for it. But like I think we're all very rich in a lot of aspects of our lives, and I think our pockets are going to match that. I'm not saying I'm broke. We all doing all right.
We're
Like
wealthy.
but
yeah,
we can do it better. At the end of the day.
Right. Oh
always.
yeah,
Bro.
I want to like transition a little bit there, right? Because I noticed that you got into like something new in jiu-jitsu, right? How was that like for you though? From like
Oh,
transitioning into like bodybuilding into like something martial arts, something completely different. How was that like overall for you?
uh, it was good, bro. Like, I always grew up watching martial art movies, like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all those type of movies, Jet Li, and I just always loved that. And having the swole physique was good, you know, but it just got to that point where I'm like, man, it was kind of getting stagnant a little bit in my training, and I wanted to try something new. So I was getting into boxing. I always would do some type of boxing, even in college, just learning from YouTube, whatever. And one of my buddies was like, hey, man, you should try jiu-jitsu. He was just saying that for years. And I'm like, man, that's for douchebags. I ain't going to do no jiu-jitsu. I was like, why the hell would I want to just be rolling around with a sweaty-ass dude? And eventually,
You started rolling around 20 dudes.
yeah, I ended up doing it. But it's strange, though. Like, it made me fall in love with martial arts in a way where it's more philosophical, because a lot of the principles that you learn in these different martial arts
Yeah.
translate to life. Say, for example, there's just like a bigger opponent and you're just like, man, I can't beat this dude. It's not necessarily that you can't beat him, but you already thought that you can't beat him. So it's in
Yeah.
the mind that you're just like, thinking that way. And it really just becomes philosophical, because if they're going to use strength, all right, they're going to use strength, I'm going to be soft, or I'm going to be soft, and then, or then, you know, and vice versa. It's the masculine, it's the feminine, and then you really just use that dynamic of energy to know how to put yourself in a better position to win, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really necessarily believe in like the win-loss philosophy when doing martial arts. I just look at it as learning. And at the end of the day, because if you kind of look at it like, oh, I'm going to win, or it's like an ego thing, you're really just wanting to win the battle. You're not there to win the war. And it's a war of life, you know, when we're doing things such as like martial arts, and the war is really out there in the real world. You're like, you're going to, yeah, you're going to fight like really hard in that battle. But, you know, when you're out there in the real world, that's like real life shit that you're going to experience. So that's something that, you know, I use in order to stay fit. Yeah. And, yeah, shout out, Honest. That was a deep one right there.
That was a bar right there. That was a bar right there.
It is like chess for sure, you know, and just knowing those pieces that you're putting all together right there, you know, it's huge. And I also been learning Tabamina Balintawak, which is like a form of Eskrima, of stick fighting from the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
And it also translates from using weapons like a stick. You could translate it to using a knife or a closed hand, things like that. And it's called no thinking and thinking mind in one. So it's kind of a paradox when you train martial arts at the same time, because they're just like, no, you have to see it, you have to think about it, and then you're like, hey, you're thinking too much. It's like, damn, what are you talking about? You know? So it's just one of those things that kind of keeps you on your toes mentally, because I just love the whole mental component when adding in the physicality with doing the martial arts.
Yeah. Would you say like that's what the biggest difference between training for like, you know, weightlifting, bodybuilding, and combat training, like, is the like, you know, the fact that you have to like think about so much more? Because it's just like, you know, if I'm hitting the bag's not going to hit me back. But like this person coming at me, like there's a lot that could possibly happen. So it's just
yeah, man, that's a perfect example right there. Because like, you could hit the bag all you want, but when you're actually sparring with somebody, man, it's so different. Because I remember my first time I was sparring, I was like, why am I like throwing punches like this, man?
Like I know what to do, but he got me.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're at that point where you're just like in it in real life situations, but you continuously go into that discomfort, bro, like in the real world, you're gonna be set. I mean, not gonna be like Floyd Mayweather or anything, but you know, you'd be feeling a little bit better about it. And a lot of the times when we do work out, do bodybuild, like it does, you look good naked. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's what everybody's trying to accomplish, is just looking good naked and in your clothes. Sure, why not? But at the end of the day, you also need to be able to perform. And my background of health and exercise science, that's what I was doing when I was actually an athletic trainer. So being able to implement all those components has just really been giving more dynamic, you know, to the fitness realm of it. So whenever I show up to a gym, I could just do different type of things. You know, calisthenics is a whole different level too.
Right.
You know, like there's so many different workouts.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Shoot. And all you're using is your body weight, man.
Yeah.
So,
and and this is kind of like selfishly, I wanted to ask this question. We talked about it a little earlier, but in jiu-jitsu, man, there's a colored belt system, right?
Yeah.
How does that work? You know, what level are you on now, and how does like the system of belts work? Like, how do you move up them? What's the color ranking? How does that look, man? I always wondered that. I know black belt is like the, you know what I mean, but it's like what's between white and black, right?
Well, even in jiu-jitsu, black belt isn't the highest degree, right?
Yeah, I was about to say it goes higher than black belt actually in jiu-jitsu. So you start off at white. That's just like brand new. But even before that, if you're younger, they have a different belt system. But I'm not really familiar with their colors and whatnot. But I believe it's after the age of 15 and you're new, you start off as a white belt, and then you get your stripes up to 4. And, Then after you get your 4 stripes, you get a blue belt, 4 stripes. Then after that, you get your purple belt, 4 stripes. Then after that, you get your brown belt, then your 4 stripes. Then you get your black belt, 4 stripes. And then you get what's called your coral belt, which is red. And then
Come on.
keep going, but that's up there, bro. I mean, I would love to get up to my black belt, and my goal is just to stay healthy and in it for the long term.
Yeah.
That's why I only do jiu-jitsu once a week. Actually, been doing it once a week for the last 3.5 years, and I'm currently a blue belt, 4 stripes, so I'm almost a purple belt, and took me about 3 years to get to that point. it's
How do you get those stripes that you're talking about? What is a stripe? Like what?
So it's more so based on the instructor, and you being coachable. From what I understand, is if you're actually implementing. So let's just say white belt. As a white belt, you just need to be able to handle the instruction, be able to handle stress in that situation. And then once you move up to a blue belt, you're more so getting more advanced in your defense, and then you be more progressing in that offense. Then when you're in a purple belt, this is where you're more relaxed, technique savvy, and more refined. And then as you move up, it's just more of like, it becomes more innate, more subconscious, and you just flow. And it's like when you're doing sports or when you're making music, you get in a flow state and you're not even thinking about it. It just comes to you and you're just like, you know, that's what it'll get like eventually. And I don't really pay much to attention to the belt system per se. My thing is just showing up, and I'm like, oh, I got a stripe today. Oh, I got a belt today. It's cool. I think it's a lot more rewarding, you know, to be more inspired, and then opposed to thinking of belt system, because there's some people that are like that. I was actually talking to the people at my gym today about this. That hey, have you ever had anybody ask? They're asking the instructor this about when are they going to progress to the next level, and then it's like, no, if they ask me that, I'll just give them another year or two.
Right, that's probably you probably go down at that point.
Exactly.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
Why if I've been killing it, I'm out there every week, twice a week, killing it, doing everything right, I feel like, man, I need to go.
There's only so
it's
much.
It's a mindset, no?
It is.
When you stop hearing about the belt, you'll probably get the next belt, you know?
Right. Because it's like a discipline. I get that part, because at the end of the day, now you're just more focused on the belt instead of like the whole process. So you try to like skip that part. You just want to focus, and they don't want that for you. They want you to go through everything.
It's a process.
And it happens in every sport, bro. Everybody wants a championship. Everybody wants a Grammy. Nobody wants just the works between it. You know what I mean? So that's where the real wins is, all between it. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because that was exactly what I was about to say. Like, it's just like, I'm not fixated on winning a Grammy one day. Like, you gotta win a Grammy, you know, because I think that fixation is what drives you more away from it anyways at the end of the day. When you're very, very fluid and let things flow to you, you know, like, I think that's just how, like, the universe works. You know, like, we talk about it all the time. It rewards you when you just accept that. So stop being so impatient, DG.
But my kind of argument is, right, like, for example, at work, right, I went there, like, when I got a promotion, I told them this is what I've been doing so far for years. I showed them all the productivity, like, I have done for the company. I'm like, this is what I've done. And by me doing that, they gave me a promotion, because I feel like if I would have sat there and not doing anything, my work wasn't going to be noticed. But for the fact that I went there and showed them this is what I've done over the past few years, you know. But I feel like when it comes to martial art, though, you can't really do that, right? But when it comes to any other field, then it make more sense. Because if I would have sat there, bro, I would have been in the same role and getting paid less. And I'm doing way more than a lot of people. So why should I just sit there and be like, like, pay me more?
Well, I think it's like closed mouths don't get fed type of thing. In this case, with martial arts, it's more of like the way that you speak about yours is showing up and actually being coachable, putting in the work that's necessary, you know, in that sense. And then, you know, DG, you've been showing up, you're doing the work. And, you know, at that point, I feel like there's some people, though, that just really like, oh, no, he ain't going to ask, or he ain't going to speak up or say something. You know, so then you're just like, you have to let them know that you are lying and you're going to roar. you know,
Right.
you want yours. Yeah, exactly, man. So that's kudos to you for doing that, and congratulations.
Oh, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, but I had to let him know. I have a whole Excel spreadsheet, bro. I went back to 3 years ago. Everything I've done for real. Like, bro, I showed them the receipt. And I met with the CFO too, because he's in charge of my director. I met with him. I had all the receipt,
Yeah,
bro. Like the total
yeah,
revenue, everything I've worked on, like in underwriting.
yeah.
Like, this is how much I've made a company over here, but being here. And you guys pay me this. And they were like,
Hey, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find
Yeah.
out.
exactly, man.
That's a fact.
But we don't want to keep here too long, Mike. I have another question though, because was it like in 2016 or 2017? I don't know. Don't quote me correctly. You transition from you transition to like a plant based, right?
So yeah,
Overall. So how is that like for you though? Like, have you noticed anything overall when it comes to your performance, when it comes to lifting weight? Did you really notice any difference between being plant based and not plant based?
uh, well, the reason why I did it in general is just because I came across this quote, and it's really basic. It's actually a physics quote. It's you can't energy is neither created or destroyed. It's transferred. And
Right.
I took that philosophy, and I was like, damn, I'm eating this dry ass piece of chicken. I was like, I didn't feel good, bro. Like it was like my stomach didn't feel right.
He's like, why do I feel so dry? Is it gassy?
Yeah. But the only time it felt good is when I was eating like some Cane's or some Chick-fil-A, but I had to get some type of sauce. And I didn't. I was thinking like, how was the animal treated? I don't know. How was it killed? I don't know. And that is also going to be replacing the cells within my body and the way that I go about things. You know, I was really becoming more intentional and conscious of my attitude towards things. And at that time, I was very depressed and suicidal at that point, man, like 2014, 2015. So I was like, man, I need to get better. So that's when I started to realize I need to change my food, change my diet. So I went more plant-based. And now I've been at that point where I'll still have some fish. I'll have some fish from time to time. I'll have some sardines. Not the best type of fish, but you know, it packs a punch, and it's actually seen as a superfood. So
Right.
I took this blood test and microbiome test that shows me what foods are healthy for me and what foods are doing my body more harm, which ones are the best. And I kind of go by that now, and it's actually more of a plant-based vegetarian diet. So, you know, I have noticed a change in my energy levels. I'm actually like, I work maybe 15, 16-hour days without even noticing it. And actually my girl's the one that's like, hey, you need to spend more time. So I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta pump the brake a little bit, you know, and do something different. But you know, having the plant-based diet is helpful. Intermittent fasting, I've been doing that for a minute.
Right. You've been doing it for a
Yeah.
while.
Blood type, it does play a role. And I've been having this thing called Shilajit, which is actually found in the mountains of the Himalayas, and it helps with men's testosterone levels, and is really heavy in what do you call it, minerals. And I've been taking that. You have to cycle it on and off, so I've been taking that as well. That's the only thing I really take. It and protein powder, you know, and I hardly
Mhm.
protein powder, but yeah, in a nutshell, I've been fasting for Ramadan, and yeah, it's been good, man. The fasts haven't been as hard because they used to be very difficult, but being in tune with like knowing what I eat, what time of day, and like circadian rhythm,
Right.
Yeah.
bases help out a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
It's dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, you did that too for a while though, right? Z, you like when it's like a couple months, you just off fish.
I was pescatarian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I was pescatarian for 2 years, and I actually I noticed a considerable change,
Mm-hmm.
just in like, to my point, just like how my body just felt, like, you know, like I just felt more optimal, I guess you could say, is the word. I wasn't just eating sardines. Sardines are cool, and your boy was smacking some salmon, but
Salmon's good. Salmon's good too.
I wasn't just on sardines, baby. Your boy was smacking some fish.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
So I think it's cool, you know, but like, nah, go go ahead and hit me off with that, break me off with that bass or something, man. Go ahead and
with some caviar. Did you have some caviar too, or what?
I'm not the biggest fan of caviar, bro. Honestly, like, have you had caviar?
I haven't. I don't think I have had the real caviar.
Maybe it's because, like, I don't know. Maybe like I've had it in multiple instances, but when I tasted caviar just by itself, bro, it literally tasted like I took a bite out of a swamp. Like that's literally what it tasted like, bro. Like I was just like, this is not
good.
This is not it.
I'm going plant based before I go caviar.
I thought you were.
Before I go caviar, man, I'm about to hit up my thing, get my plant based before I go caviar.
Yeah, bro.
How do you get all your protein that much? Like, I'm just curious because like how do you get all your protein source? Your source of protein? Like,
is beans, cheese, eggs, and supplements, and also lentils from time to time, and then also have some fish from time to time.
So but yeah, vegetarian, not vegan.
Vegetarian, yeah. I did vegan for 90 days, but the vegan route, I definitely noticed a lot more energy depletion after 90. My bad, my alarm's going off. But yeah, I noticed that my energy was dropping off, and I just wasn't feeling it, man. I just want to take naps, and it just wasn't. I didn't feel good, and I didn't want to become a soy boy and then just soy. You know what I'm saying? So
soy boy, that's hilarious. I ain't never heard of that.
Now you know, bro. That I ain't becoming one of those and just having like plant-based, calling Beyond Meat stuff. That's not. I'm not a fan of any of the fake meats. It's actually very harmful to your health.
Right.
You know, and it's just new. It's new. It's not studied for years.
Right.
Not really. I'm not putting that type of stuff in my body. I'd much rather have a real burger opposed to having something like that.
Right.
So
wow, interesting.
Yeah, I mentioned a good point about that. Is like really like the only thing you should intentionally be using like Impossible or Beyond Meat for is to just like wean yourself off of meat. Like if that's all you're trying to do, like in like you're just really craving a burger or something like that, have something like that. Like if you're just like trying to transition into a different lifestyle, like going vegetarian, going vegan, something like that. That's the only time you should really use it, you know. But outside of that, it's not really beneficial.
I'm gonna let y'all know whenever we're on trips and you guys are taking naps, I'm gonna call y'all soy boys.
Hey, no, we gotta do a trip.
Look at this soy boy right here.
Hey, look at this soy boy over here. Oh, soy boy.
Man. Stop being an entity, soy boy.
Over there looking like a whole soy boy and shit.
That's crazy.
Hey, I gotta ask now that you brought it up. When's the next trip?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
If y'all do a trip, I'm gonna invite myself. Y'all fucking around having too much fun.
You know, we be outside, man. We be outside.
Hey, Africa, bro. Ghana in December. That's the next trip.
That's something we're looking at, man. We're looking at we're looking at Afrochella.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that we're looking at, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
What day out of you said December? Are you talking about like Christmas or something? Or because I actually have a little Ghanaian in my DNA. So.
Come on, man.
Right.
I figured you did. You know what I mean? I figured that.
All kinds.
Yeah. When is it? Is it like December 20th?
I think it's right after Christmas, and I think we probably roll into being out there through New Year's. Probably that's probably what we'd be looking at.
Oh damn.
Something like that.
Okay.
So if you can make it, man, you know, let us know. That would love.
That's what we're looking, man.
Yeah, I'll check in with wifey and see because I know we're expecting a little one by then. So
hey,
congrats, let's go.
Congrats, man. Salute.
Yeah, that's
fine. Congratulations.
Y'all gonna do a do y'all know the gender, or y'all gonna do a like reveal? Like
so it's according to the blood test, it's a boy.
Okay.
My junior.
Not a soy boy?
Not a soy boy.
Soy boy. Yeah, you ain't gonna let that one go.
He said he ain't a soy boy though.
No, he ain't definitely ain't gonna be no soy boy. Damn, I'll have to put a shirt.
Yeah.
That's dope, though.
So congrats, bro.
Congratulations,
Man.
man. Congratulations to both of you
I'm
guys.
gonna have to call you private to talk more about that. I'm gonna have to call you personally to talk more. Congrats, bro. That's dope.
Yeah, let's definitely
But
do it, man. Let's definitely.
we're gonna be I'm gonna be in Denver in June, so we'll definitely have then.
Yeah, let's link up, bro. Let's link up. Yeah, because in June, yeah, I should be in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be, and if you ever come out to New York, man, you know, out here in
What part
Brooklyn.
of New York you in?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah.
All day. How is it out there? Like, how's the culture and everything? You meshing with it? You vibing with it?
I love New York, bro. I love New York.
But bro,
Honestly,
he's glowing in New York, bro. He's glowing. Look at his skin. He's glowing.
popping, baby. You see that skin glowing, baby.
Hair looks good. Skin looks good.
You can tell there ain't no soy boy over here. You boy over here glowing.
No, they ain't got no soy boys out there.
No soy boys out here, but nah, man, I love New York. I really do. Like, been out here 4 months now, you know, and it's just it's crazy to say that I've been out here for 4 months. It's flown by, but New York. What the dope thing about New York is it just has so much to offer. Like, you know, like I oftentimes have conversations with people who are either natives or have been here for, you know, decades, and they're like, honestly, I still haven't explored all of New York. Like, there's just so much new that's always happening at all times. There's new places, new spaces, new faces. Like, there's just like so much newness at all times, and like the cultures are dope. You can walk down a block and hear 5 different languages, 5 different restaurants, 5 different cuisines, and it's just like it's dope in that regard of just like honestly. It's very open, you know, out here. Like, I feel like people are very open-minded. You know, I know they say that people aren't necessarily the friendliest here in New York, but they are kind, you know, kind of thing. And I do subscribe to that. New Yorkers can be kind of standoffish, but like at the end of the day, I think everybody has like good intent, you know, like they have a good heart, you know, at the end of the day. But New York is dope, bro. Like, it really is. And the thing that I like about New York specifically, I haven't experienced this anywhere else in India, is it's just like they say it's the city that never sleeps, but it's honestly like the energy here is just very infectious. Like, I feel like regardless of where you're at in life or where you come from, you know, whether you're a janitor, whether you're a Wall Streeter, whether you're a DJ, whether, you know, you're a CEO, whatever the case may be, everyone's like working towards something. Everyone's striving towards something. Everyone has a bigger story at the end of the day. You know, we talk about vision. I think everyone out here in New York, like, you truly like have that vision. And you have to think about it, right? Like, New York is expensive. Right. So people pay. There's a reason why it is expensive here in New York. You're paying for the hustle and the bustle and the, to just be around that culture, that infectious culture. And it can't help but like rub off on you. Like, you just, you see people wanting to be their best and living out their best lives. And, you know, it's just really dope, bro. Like, and I've never experienced that like ever in any other city. Wow. I remember taking an Uber, like home at like 3 a.m, you know, cause like everything closes here at 4 a.m, you know, like kind of thing, like if it closes at all, you know, but, I remember taking an Uber home and I was just riding through the city, and, I literally had that sentiment, like this moment where I was just like, anything is possible here. And I genuinely like felt that. Like, I was just, anything you want to accomplish, you can do it here. When they say you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And I absolutely subscribe to that. So I love it out here.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love that vibe when I was out there too. It's definitely fast paced and there's a lot of people out there getting theirs. And I was only out there for like maybe 3 days in that area in particular. I think we were in Manhattan.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you call it? Times Square, right?
Yeah. Times Square.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we were, and I loved it, man. Sure.
Yeah.
But glad to hear that you're digging it too, and you're glowing.
Glowing, baby, out here vibing and thriving. You know, so.
Yeah. When it's summertime, PC gonna be heading out there.
Oh, you know it. You know.
You know, man.
No other time than summer.
Yeah, I moved out of Denver for a reason now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not diving straight back into the, you know what I'm saying, to the depths of it, man. But in the summer, I'm gonna pop up, man, for sure.
About it is, like, since I've been out here, I think it snowed like 3 times since I've been out here.
Wow.
You know, like
That's 3 times too many, my brother.
Like this was a very light winter. He said that's 3 more times than it did here.
Hey,
3 times too many, my brother.
get y'all ease into it, Z. It's going. It's like a girl. She's pretending to be nice and friendly. She just want you to commit more.
She got built up to it.
She about to
real character.
turn up on you in a minute.
Go crazy. She about to go crazy next. She like, all right. She said, I done reeled him in now. I done reeled his ass in now.
Like, oh, bro, she's cool. She make me dinner. She rub my feet. All right, wait till 2 years later.
Let me turn it up one time. Yeah.
Alrighty.
But nah, man, Maj, we definitely appreciate. Did you have any other questions for us? I mean, you honestly asked us some dope questions too.
Yeah, no, most for sure. Yeah, I definitely been asking y'all. I know I kind of made it about me. My bad.
No, we wanted.
No, that's the whole point.
That's
about you.
That's why we had you on,
okay.
bro. We wanted to make it about that, man. We
Okay,
were interested. Right. That's why we wanted to have you on. You know.
Okay, cool. All right. I was like,
this is supposed to be about you.
Okay. All right. Nah, we just need to link in. You need to tap in more, especially that I've been hearing what y'all are doing, your intentions and your dreams, man. Like, I love hearing that type of shit instead of just like, the superficial stuff. I love working towards something much bigger than myself. So, I definitely want to be able, I am going to be tapping in with y'all. Yeah. I think I had to check myself real quick because I think the way that you say things is going to, make it actually happen.
The power of words, man, is real. I absolutely believe.
Yeah.
But next time when I'll be out there in June. I think P's actually like looking at going out there around that time too. But we should definitely catch up. Do you drink?
Soy, baby. Oh, yeah.
He said, I'm a soy boy, baby.
Pure soy.
Well, I was gonna say we can grab drinks or something, but if not, like we can just grab coffee or something.
I get down. I'll get on a little sip.
He get down.
I'm like Diamond when it comes to sipping.
Okay.
Hey, stop.
Yeah, so y'all some lightweights is what you're saying.
I ain't no lightweight, man. I'm sure I ain't no lightweight. I'm a big boy now. I'm gonna show y'all.
Hey, PC,
come in June.
Come through in June too.
June 2nd. It's going down.
It's going down.
We honestly need to play around. We need to play around the golf too. That's what we need to do. That's really.
I actually live on a golf course, or there's a golf course like right down the street. So I'm down. I've never golfed before, so.
Hey, let's make it happen. We got Tyler. He's down too. We can make it happen. We can plan it, bro.
Yeah.
I got Tyler.
Y'all got to show me the way.
Legs. Yeah. Hopefully my legs will be better by then, and I'll get moving. So,
hold on. What you do to your legs? Hold on.
A lot of shit, bro.
Yeah.
I tore my meniscus and MCL, man.
Damn. What were you doing?
Playing soccer.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were gonna say I was giving my girl a piggyback ride, carrying her up the stairs.
Hey, that should be a better story right there. I'll be the real man. My girl been walking all day, bro. She was wearing heels on, her legs with feet swollen. So I picked her up, going up the
stairs. Damn, bro. Hey, well, Godspeed, brother. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, bro. So hopefully,
you rehabbing now, or?
I just got the result this morning, bro. So I'm waiting for my doctor. Hopefully, they're gonna call me this week to figure out if I need surgery or not.
Damn.
Yeah. So I just got knee brace on right now, and just Bro, I couldn't walk last week, bro. I was on crutches. I started walking 2 days now. Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I couldn't walk last week, but I'm doing better. The fact that I'm walking right now, I'm making progress. So
that's a lot, bro. That's huge. The road to recovery, man.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. But yeah, Maj, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Maj, we appreciate you sharing, time and space, man. Thank you for sharing, obviously, your story, and whatnot. But it's been a pleasure. We definitely gonna tap in come June, baby.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm about to get y'all. I think I might have your number still, Z. Peace. I don't know if I do.
The same number since I was 16 years old, so it ain't changed.
All right, we're going to tap in then. We'll
do it.
And also,
absolutely. But
before we leave, I just want to say shout out to everybody who joined the live today. We're going to be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Every single Monday, we're going to be here manifesting. So please join for sure.
Absolutely.
Much
y'all
love,
be safe.
All right. Peace out.
Good night, y'all.
Easy, man.